I never imagined a birthday cake could spark so much tension. Yet here I am, sitting in my kitchen at 6 o'clock a.m., staring at the three-tiered masterpiece I had spent the entire night crafting. Each layer represents Emily, my daughter, and everything she loves: dinosaurs, space, and science. The bottom tier shows dinosaurs roaming across prehistoric Earth, rendered in painstaking detail. The middle tier charts the evolution of life: tiny creatures and plants carefully painted. And the top tier is the cosmos itself: hand-painted planets, glittering stars, and swirling galaxies. Mommy, is it time yet? Emily's voice, bright with excitement, carries from the hallway. She's been awake since 5, too thrilled about her birthday party to sleep. My heart swells as she bounces into the kitchen, curly hair wild from sleep, wearing her favorite NASA pajamas. Almost, sweetie. The frosting needs a little more time to set, I tell her, pulling her into a hug and breathing in the familiar scent of her strawberry shampoo. Why don't you help me set up the science experiment stations for your friends? Her eyes light up. We'd planned a mad scientist birthday party, complete with safe experiments designed for 8-year-olds. No princesses, no cartoon characters, no generic decorations. Emily wants to make slime, create volcanic eruptions, and explore chemical reactions. Do you think Grandma Patricia will like my party? She asks, carefully arranging test tubes filled with colored water. My stomach tightens. Patricia, my mother-in-law, has never fully approved of my unconventional parenting choices. I answer diplomatically, hoping to diffuse any tension. I'm sure she'll love seeing you happy. I remember last year's fiasco. Patricia had brought a pink princess dress and insisted Emily change out of her astronaut costume. The doorbell rings at exactly 10 o'clock a.m. Patricia, always punctual. Michael answers while I make final adjustments to the cake. I hear her before I see her. Michael, darling, where's my precious granddaughter? I brought her the most adorable dress from that boutique I told you about. I close my eyes and count to 10. We had specifically asked everyone to wear clothes they wouldn't mind getting messy. Emily runs to greet her grandmother, lab coat already on, safety goggles pushed up on her head. Grandma, look! I'm a scientist today. She twirls, showing off the patches I'd sewn onto her coat. NASA, the periodic table, and her name in gold thread. Patricia's smile falters. Oh, how interesting. But wouldn't you rather wear this beautiful dress I brought? It has ribbons. And Michael steps in smoothly. We discussed this. It's Emily's party, and she chose the theme. Patricia purses her lips but doesn't argue, following Emily into the kitchen. That's when she sees the cake. Her face drains of color as she takes in the fondant dinosaurs, the intricate DNA strands, the glittering galaxy topping the cake. What is this? She trembles. I feel a surge of pride, thinking she's impressed by my work. I am wrong. This is horrible, she shrieks, startling Emily, who drops her safety goggles. This isn't a proper birthday cake for a little girl. Where are the flowers, the butterflies, the pretty pink frosting? Michael tries to intervene, but Patricia is unstoppable. This party should be cancelled immediately. I can still call the bakery. They could deliver a proper cake in an hour, and I'm sure the boutique has decorations we can cut in. My voice calm and steady. Let me show you something. I open my phone and pull up a video from last week. Emily's voice fills the kitchen. Mommy, can you make the dinosaurs look real and the planets too? I want to show everyone how amazing science is. The video shows her sketching her dream cake, eyes glowing with excitement. See? The DNA shows how everything is connected, and the stars show where we might go someday, when I'm an astronaut. I swipe to another video from Emily's science fair last month. She's presenting her solar energy project, confident, articulate, explaining complex concepts to the judges. The blue ribbon gleams under the fluorescent lights. This is who your granddaughter is, Patricia, I say firmly. She's brilliant, curious, and passionate about science. She doesn't want to be a princess, she wants to be an astronaut, or a paleontologist, or maybe both. Today, we're celebrating exactly who she is. Emily hugs my legs, trembling slightly. I run my fingers through her curls, silently promising to always protect her right to be herself. I love my cake, Mommy, she whispers, It's perfect. Michael places a hand on his mother's shoulder. Mom, do you remember what you always told me growing up? Be yourself, no matter what anyone says. That's all Emily's doing. Patricia looks between Emily and the cake. The fight seems to drain from her, leaving only the faintest trace of surprise and reflection. She sinks into a kitchen chair, dabbing her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. The doorbell rings again, signaling the arrival of the first guests. Emily bounces with excitement, lab coat swishing around her knees. Grandma, she says, approaching Patricia carefully, would you like to help with the experiments? I can show you how to make elephant toothpaste. It's really cool. I hold my breath, watching Patricia's internal struggle play across her face. Finally, a small smile breaks through. I suppose I could learn something new today. The party explodes into life. Our backyard transforms into a kid-sized laboratory, filled with 10 excited 8-year-olds in lab coats. Laughter mingles with the fizzing and bubbling of colorful, harmless chemical reactions. I keep one eye on Patricia as she hovers near the volcanic eruption table, a spare lab coat on over her blouse, pearl necklace still intact. Emily shows her how to mix baking soda and vinegar to create a perfect eruption. See, Grandma? When you combine an acid and a base. Her explanation is interrupted by a foamy explosion and cheers. To my surprise, Patricia leans closer, curiosity replacing disapproval. That's actually quite fascinating, she admits, adjusting her safety goggles. What happens if we add more baking soda? Before Emily can answer, my sister-in-law Diane bursts through the gate, fashionably late, face twisted in a familiar sneer. Of course, still encouraging these unusual interests I see, she says, air-kissing my cheek. Her gaze lands on Patricia's lab coat. Mother, what are you wearing? Patricia straightens, a subtle shift crossing her expression. I brace myself, expecting her to side with Diane and revert to her usual criticism of my choices. Instead, she surprises me. I'm conducting experiments with my granddaughter, she said firmly. Thuy caught a slight tremor in her voice. Did you know that combining certain household ingredients can create remarkable reactions? Diane's perfectly plucked eyebrows shot up. Surely you're joking. This is hardly appropriate for a little girl's birthday. Where are the Princess Games? The makeup stations, these future scientists who might cure cancer or lead missions to Mars. I cued in, my patience finally snapping, because that's what I see when I look at these kids. I see potential, curiosity, and joy in discovery. Emily appeared at me side, her lab coat now splattered with various colors from the experiments. Auntie want to see something amazing. Without waiting for an answer, she grabbed her aunt's manicure hand and pulled her toward the coloring solution station. Careful, Diane yelped. This blouse is designer. I'll let her show you, Patricia said, following them. I've learned more in the last hour than I have in years of adult dinner parties. I watched in astonishment as my mother-in-law positioned herself between Emily and Ian, subtly blocking her daughter's attempts to redirect the party toward more traditional activities. When they tried to suggest an impromptu princess makeover session, Patricia loudly announced it was time for cake. The cake reveal was met with exactly the reaction Emily had hoped for. The kids crowd around pointing excitedly at different details, the realistic dinosaurs, the glowing planets, the intricate dinostrans. Even Diane's daughter Sophie, usually glued to her mother's side, pushed forward to get a better look. Mom, look. Sophie tugged at Diane's sleeve. The dinosaurs look so real. Can he take science classes like Emily? Diane's face flushed. But honey, you love your ballet lessons. I can do both, Sophie insisted. Emily does gymnastics and science. I caught Patricia watching this exchange. Something like recognition flickering across her face. She touched Diane's arm gently. Remember when you wanted to take automotive classes in high school? She said softly, and I insisted you stick with home economics instead. Diane went very still. You said it wasn't lately to work in cars. I was wrong. Patricia's voice cracked slightly. I was so focused on what I thought you should be that I didn't see who you wanted to be. Just like she glanced at me apologetically, just like I've been doing with Emily, the tension in the air dissolved. Assembly started, leading everyone in singing happy birthday. I watched her face glow in the candlelight, surrounded by friends who shared her passions, family members finally beginning to understand. After Emily blew out her candles, Patricia helped me serve the cake. As she handed out plates, she quietly said, "The dinosaurs are remarkably detailed. Did you make them all by hand?" "Yes," he answered cautiously. I took some on the necklaces and cake decorating when Emily first showed interest in science-themed parties. "I'd love to learn," she said, surprising me again. Maybe we could take a class together. I could help with her next birthday cake." Before I could respond, Emily's voice rang out across the yard. "Mommy, Grandma, come quick. We mixed the wrong chemicals and something's changing color." Patricia and Andy exchanged glances, then hurried toward the excited crowd of young scientists. As we approached, I heard Diane say, "Actually, Sophie, maybe we could look into those science classes after all." The afternoon sun caught the safety goggles perched on Patricia's head, and for the first time since she'd arrived, her smile reached her eyes. The weeks following Emily's birthday party brought changes I never expected. Patricia called me on a Tuesday afternoon, her voice tentative but determined. "Sarah, dear, I've been doing some thinking," she began. "I found a wonderful cake decorating class at the community center. The instructor says we can bring children on Saturday mornings. I thought perhaps Emily might enjoy learning galvanized us." I nearly dropped my coffee mug. "Us?" "Well, yes," Patricia continued. "I've already enrolled myself, and I hope you might join too. We can make it a regular thing, just us girls." That's how I found myself spending Saturday mornings with my mother-in-law and daughter, learning the intricacies of fondant and buttercream. Emily proved to be natural. Her steady hands and attention to details serving her well as crafted increasingly complex designs. But it was Patricia who truly surprised me. "Look at this," she exclaimed one morning, proudly displaying a perfectly sculpted denotable helix made from model incolate. Emily helped me understand the structure. "Did you know each little part has a specific name?" During our breaks, Patricia began sharing stories she'd never heard before about her own childhood dreams of becoming a marine biologist. Dreams she'd abandoned because proper young ladies didn't pursue such careers in her day. "I don't want Emily to ever feel that way," she confided one day, watching our daughter carefully paint edible silver luster dust onto a fondant rocket ship. "I don't want any of my grandchildren to feel limited by someone else's expectations." The real test came a month later when Emily's science fair project made it to regional championships. The evening before the competition, our doorbell rang. Patricia stood there, arms full of supplies. "I thought we could help Emily practice her presentation," she announced, sweeping into the house. Andy brought something special. From her bag, she pulled out a carefully wrapped package. Inside was a lab coat, child-sized but professional-grade with Dear Emily Wilson, future scientist embroidered an elegant script. Emily's eyes widened. "Grandma, it's perfect." She threw her arms around Patricia, who hugged her back fiercely. "There's something else," Patricia said, pulling out a faded photograph. It showed a young girl in cat-eye glasses standing proudly next to a science fair project about ocean acidification. "That's me at your age. I won first place, but my parents," she swallowed. "They said it wasn't appropriate. It never entered another sciencey competition." Emily studied the photo carefully. "Your project looks amazing, Grandma. Will you help me practice my presentation about solar energy?" For the next 2 hours, Patricia and Emily worked together, refining explanations and practicing demonstrations. I watched from the doorway as my mother-in-law, the woman who once insisted on pink dresses and princess parties, helped her granddaughter perfect her scientific termini. The next morning at the science fair, Emily stood confidently before the judges, her new lab coat gleaming under the fluorescent lights. Patricia sat in the front row, clutching her pearls, not in disapproval, but in nervous excitement. When Emily was announced as the winner, Patricia's cheer was the loudest in the room. At celebration dinner that evening, Diane surprised us by announcing that Sophie had joined the school's science club. "She's particularly interested in marine biology," she added, glancing meaningly at her mother. Patricia crouched across the table and squeezed her daughter's hand. Maybe we could all take a trip to the aquarium research center, she suggested. I hear they have an excellent educational program for children. Later that night, as Mikkel and I were cleaning up, He pulled me aside. Mom called me today. Said she wanted me to tell you something, but she was afraid it might sound silly. What is it? She said. Thank you, not just for Emily's party, but for showing her it's never too late to embrace who you really are, Hesmolt. She signed up for an online marine biology course. The following weekend, I found Patricia and Emily in our kitchen, surrounded by baking supplies. They were attempting to create a cake shaped like a marine ecosystem complete with coral reefs and sea creatures. Mom, Emily called out excitedly. Grandma's teaching me about ocean acidification while we bake. Did you know she used to study this stuff? Patricia looked up, her face dusted with powdered sugar, wearing the lab coat about her as a joke embroidered with their Grandma, senior science advisor. Her eyes met mine and we shared a moment of understanding. You know, she said thoughtfully, I always thought I was protecting them. Diane, Emily, all of them by pushing them toward what society expected, but watching Emily that day, seeing her so passionate about science, it woke something up in me, something I thought I'd lost. Emily piped up. Can we make the coral reef change colors like in your old science project, Grandma? We can certainly try, Patricia laughed. After all, the best scientists are theons who aren't afraid to experiment. Looking at them together, 3 generations of women exploring, creating, and learning. I realized that sometimes the best family traditions are new ones we dare to